Hi everyone, I'm Ben. The best and the most incredible days of my life were spent with my sister. I have no one else to tell this to because not everyone will understand. Here's what happened and how it ended. I hope in advance that you'll try to understand. Kate, that is her name, came to visit me for 2 weeks. We lived in different cities and hadn't seen each other in over 2 years. When I saw her, she just amazed me with how she had changed. She had really grown up, and she had become so interesting. For example, she really loved skateboarding, body painting, and the same music that I loved. She's also very educated and resourceful. We had a connection from day one. On the first night, we sat in the backyard by a fire, roasted marshmallows, and talked until morning. I soon became convinced that she was the best girl in the world. After all, she invited me to go fishing. I didn't even have to explain to her how to cast. Later that night, we watched Billie Eilish clips together. I soon realized that I had real feelings for her. I have never had a girlfriend like that. I'm usually shy about getting to know someone. I had several relationships, but they were nothing compared to what I now felt for Kate. The main reason was that I didn't have to pretend to be someone else when I was with her. I was just myself. But did she like me like that? But I soon became convinced that she, too, was drawn to me. I wanted us to start dating, but I didn't know if she was ready to take it that far. And then something happened, after which I couldn't stop thinking about her. I knew then that I would go all the way. We were cooking dinner together. It was just like in one of those stupid rom-com movies. We were fooling around, feeding each other with a spoon, throwing food. We were having a great time. And then Kate cut her finger, and I bandaged it for her. And then she kissed me. I was expecting a slightly different kiss, and yet it was clear that she was flirting with me too. I couldn't believe it. We needed to clarify our relationship as soon as possible, but I couldn't make up my mind. I thought about inviting her to go fishing again and we would talk there, but I was so nervous that I held out until it was time for her to leave and never made the first move. But she did. It was on the last day of her trip. Kate invited me to a cafe. It was the most important date of my life. I decided that I would kiss Kate and confess that I had fallen in love with her. Completely. I was terribly nervous and had just gathered my courage when she said that she wanted to introduce me to someone. I had no idea why the hell there would be anyone else. But then a fitness instructor walked into the cafe, or some aspiring actor, or an underwear model. Yeah, who the hell knows? But the corny, chiseled dude walked straight over to our table. And then Kate said something, after which I hardly remember what happened. Let me introduce you to my boyfriend. She asked me if I was okay. I couldn't believe that this was really happening. Had I really just imagined that there was a spark between us and Kate was attracted to me? Well, YOLO, I thought to myself. I couldn't let it end like that, and I kissed her. And yet, I was wrong. That sucks. We had it out for another hour at my house. She yelled at her buff boxer boyfriend for employing his right hook in the matter. And he fired back that she never said that I was her brother, a second cousin, so legally, we could be together. I felt ridiculously stupid. Even without the soul and I, it was so difficult for me to confess my feelings to Kate. And when we were done, I didn't want to sort our relationship in front of her stupid boyfriend. In the end, he left. With Kate. They left together. It turned out that without her, I didn't even want to listen to Billie Eilish. I fell into a terrible depression. I threw myself headlong into work. How the hell was I supposed to work if I couldn't even focus while playing games? But after a couple of weeks, Kate wanted to meet up with me. She needed to talk to me about what had happened in the cafe that day. It was hard for me to talk to her, especially now that I knew that she had a boyfriend and I was a complete loser with nothing to hope for. Still, I confessed my feelings for her. It was time to get this drama over with. She said the same typical stuff that people say in that situation. That she already had a boyfriend, blah blah blah, and I would definitely find myself a girlfriend someday. I knew that she was just trying to spare my feelings, but that's not what I wanted to hear from her. I was upset that she had come at all. Now, it was going to be a torture just to forget about her. But then she told me that she could still fulfill one of my wishes. I watched as Kate left again, but this time, I didn't get depressed. Yeah, it didn't work out, but I decided that while I was in school, I would just work and not get distracted by girls. And then I would find myself the best, the coolest, like Kate, and it would all work out. By the way, 6 months later, she broke up with her jock boyfriend anyway and started hanging out with me again. Now we're just friends. But what do you think? Should I even get mixed up with her again? I feel that same attraction between us. Or is it not worth stirring up old feelings? Plus, what if my parents are against it? Although, I don't think Kate cares about their opinion. What would you do if you were me? Well, that was my story. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I did something terrible to my husband, and I can't tell anyone about it. I'm so ashamed. Please don't judge me until I tell you everything. I married Jesse very young. He seemed like a cool and confident guy to me, and everything was good with us until a tragedy happened in his life. His parents died. He was shocked. He was constantly crying and couldn't hold himself together. I didn't recognize Jesse anymore and couldn't help him. He quit his career as a programmer and shut me out. After the funeral, it got worse. He came home and said in a panicked voice, "I can't see! Call an ambulance!" Doctors checked his eyes and said they were fine. It's called hysterical blindness, and it's triggered by psychological trauma. After that, he just lied around on the couch and even stopped taking showers. He didn't want anything, and I felt so sorry for him. And then the worst began. He started groping women in public places and blaming it on his blindness. He would do it right in front of me. I was appalled. How has your partner offended you? Write it in the comments. One time, he grabbed a beautiful cleaning lady. She screamed and threatened to call the police. He had to prove that he was blind. And on another occasion, I needed to run around on errands the whole day. Jesse hadn't been left alone for so long since the illness. After lunch, I called him several times, but he didn't pick up the phone. I got worried and asked our neighbor to check in on him. When I got back, Jen was still there. She flew out the door when I arrived, without even offering an explanation. I asked Jesse what was going on, but he told me that everything was fine. Jen had just warmed up dinner for him and agreed to read the newspaper while he ate. But I understood that he wasn't telling me everything. The next morning, I was waiting for Jen outside to find out what had happened between her and my husband. The poor girl almost burst into tears. She said that she thought Jesse had molested her, but she wasn't even completely sure because he's blind and it all seemed like maybe it was an accident. He didn't want to let her go, and he kept finding reasons for her to stay longer. She warmed up his food, read the newspaper to him, talked to him about her studies at college, and straightened the pillows on the couch. But he hugged and groped her several times, always leaning in so close to her face, and she even thought that he had tried to get a kiss. I had returned home at that exact moment. It was too much, and I wanted a divorce, but it felt like it was somehow wrong. I felt nothing for him, but nevertheless, I felt sorry for him. It was even worse at home. He was constantly pestering me. You know what I'm saying? He said Baby, I need some stress relief. I felt like some kind of toy. I was disgusted by his touch. I no longer felt loved and didn't even want to be in the same bed with him. So I slept on the couch. It was an exasperating situation, and I started spending the night with friends. Jesse unexpectedly supported this idea, but one day I came home, and what I saw shocked me. There was some girl in our bedroom with Jesse. I was furious and wanted to throw that chick out the window. Jesse fell to his knees and started begging. He later admitted that it was a call girl. He said, "I had to do it. You don't pay attention to me." I realized that he was deceiving me and stopped feeling sorry for him. I wanted to get revenge on him and find out how long he could pretend to be blind. I told him that I wanted to make amends, and that night there would be a surprise waiting for him. He had such a happy look on his face. I took him to the bedroom and told him to lie on the bed. I was eager to teach him a lesson. I told him, "Now I'm going to fulfill all your desires. You're going to like it." I turned on some romantic music and called over my new friend, Mindy. She weighed at least 300 pounds and loved to have fun. I sent her to Jesse and said, "Do what you want with him." Then Mindy took his hands and laid them on her shoulders. He began to feel her, like the blind do, and suddenly yelled, "Damn it! What's with your body, Ashley?" It was so funny. He was like a scared little boy. I could barely contain myself and affectionately answered him, "Sorry, dear. I've changed a bit. Do you really not like me anymore?" He was in a panic. Of course, he didn't believe me and tried to run away, but Mindy crushed him with her weight and didn't let him escape. That's what he gets. I told him that I would let him go if he admitted that he wasn't blind and was just pretending so he could molest women. He suddenly burst into tears and began to apologize for offending me, but swore that he really couldn't see a thing. I realized that he wasn't lying and felt sorry for him again. I was so ashamed. I filed for divorce and moved out to my parents. I was incredibly sad and hurt, but I couldn't stay with Jesse after what I had seen in the bedroom. But I taught him a lesson, although I'm not proud of it. That's what happened to me. Write in the comments what you think about Jesse.